There comes a moment when God begins to separate a man from the noise of the world. Not because he wants him alone, but because he is preparing him for something most people will never understand. The world trains men to chase comfort, approval, and distraction. But Scripture shows a different pattern. Abraham was called to leave everything familiar. Moses was hidden in the wilderness. David was isolated in caves long before he ever sat on a throne. God does not build warriors in crowds. He builds them in quiet places, where only his voice remains. If you feel misunderstood, pressed, different, it may not be failure. It may be calling. Because when God chooses a man, he removes the idols that keep him weak. He strips away comfort so discipline can grow. He allows pressure so faith can deepen. The world calls it loneliness, but heaven calls it preparation. And this is where most men quit. They mistake isolation for abandonment. They chase noise instead of listening for God's instruction. But the man who endures this season begins to hear truth clearly. Not the voice of fear, not the voice of pride, but the quiet command of God saying, "Rise, I am building you." Scripture never promises that obedience will be easy. Instead, it promises refinement. The Lord tests the righteous, and every man who walks with God eventually enters the fire. Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers before he was elevated. Job lost everything before he understood the depth of his faith. Peter denied Christ before he became a pillar of the church. Even Jesus walked through suffering before glory. The fire is not proof that God left you. It is proof that he is shaping you. Trials expose what comfort hides. They reveal pride, fear, and weakness that must be burned away. In the furnace, excuses stop working, masks fall off, and a man begins to see who he truly is and who God is calling him to become. This process is slow, painful, personal. You will face doubt, temptation, exhaustion. You will question your strength and sometimes even your faith. But every step through the fire builds endurance. Every scar becomes a reminder that God carried you when you could not walk alone. While the world runs from discomfort, the man of God learns to endure it, because he understands something powerful. Fire does not destroy true faith, it reveals it. And when the flames settle, the man who emerges is not the same one who entered. On the other side of the cross and the fire stands a different man. Not perfect, but anchored. Not arrogant, but fearless in truth. He no longer seeks approval from a world that cannot understand obedience. He wakes with purpose. He moves with discipline. His words carry weight because they are grounded in Scripture, not emotion. He is not loud for attention, but when he speaks, people listen. This is the man who has died to himself. He does not chase pleasure because he has seen its emptiness. He does not run from hardship because he knows suffering builds strength. He does not bow to fear because his identity is rooted in God. Scripture says, "Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God goes with you." And the man who believes this truth walks differently. Put storms no longer shake him. Pressure no longer controls him. He carries the cross willingly because he understands the reward is eternal. not temporary. The world may misunderstand him. Some will call him intense. Others will call him extreme. But heaven calls him faithful. And one day, when the fire has done its work and the race is finished, the crown will come. Not a crown of pride, but a crown of endurance. A reward for obedience when no one was watching. So carry the cross without shame. Walk through the fire without fear. Remain faithful when the path feels narrow, because God does not waste suffering. He uses it to build men who cannot be broken. And the man who walks with God through fire will stand with him in glory.